My history began very long time when I was around 7, 8 years old, and I started feeling or acknowledging that I'm different from other boys, yet I'm being called a boy, but there were some things which were not really clear. I consider myself as a queer with faith, because I believe in my religion. I believe in the existence of the provider, the Allah, the greater. But also I have a lot I'm enduring. Some they are success stories, some they are really sad stories because of my sexuality. I knew there is something which is not congruent to my brothers, and they were growing up becoming men and more attracted to women and getting married. But again, I realized that I am not like them. And there now the painful story began, because they did not accept of who I am, that I'm attracted to fellow men. And then identifying myself as a man was not easy. Growing up in a Muslim-dominated community whereby you were supposed to do what they want you to do, because this is what they think it is the right thing for you to do. Becoming an opposite way or becoming different, it was like considered as an outcast from our community. So we hide ourselves. I hide myself for quite a long time. I am considering myself as a female or as a woman who has been trapped in male's body, considering my faith Muslim, believing in Allah. Then sometimes I found it very difficult to have all these two cognizant beliefs which are really congruent or really damaging each other, because I believed as a Muslim, raised in an orthodox way, very fundamental, getting all this education about being a queer person is not accepted. And then here I am as a queer person, and then religious, and then educated. So these are the things who are really not going congruence with it. So I've been fighting demons inside myself, trying to pretend I am different. And it reached a point, then I got tired. I wanted to get more understanding about our religion. What does it tell? Really, I wanted to know more exactly about what really happened. Then, fortunately, I met with people who introduced me to Imam Hussein. And then I had several questions in my mind, and I wanted answers there and then. But again, I realized it was also another process for me now to accept who I am. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of concern, especially dealing with this sexuality and dealing with my family and dealing with the community around you. It has never been easy, but here I am. Everyone is against it. Everyone tells you, no, you should be treated because you're sick. And that's I am. I tried all means to stop getting attracted to men, but it didn't. It wasn't easy getting along with my faith. I was getting to judge myself every time because of who I am, of what I do, and at the same time I believed in God. So it wasn't easy. It was a process, a very tiring process, very hard process, and even to get into conclusion that I am okay, I am just who I am, and God does not stigmatize anyone. I happen now to translate, having the classical translation of Quran, the way I have been brought up in an orthodox way. I was translating in a limited way, but again, it made me expand my knowledge to understand that, in Quran it says, "Oh, you mankind, we have created you in different tribes, in different colors, and in different ways, in order to know each other, not to stigmatize one another. And the best of you is the one who fears and do the right things." I think in this diversity, it means also the sexual diversity. This is what made me also get more into understanding my religion better and better, and that's how here I am. I'm helping other queer people to believe in Allah, that Allah has never done any mistake because of their sexuality, but again, it is the oppression we are receiving because of misconception from the religion. I think we should consider what exactly we are doing, and we should consider also we are going to be asked by Allah when we were alive and doing things like this. Many of our community, you can imagine, they feel like religion has oppressed them, religion does not include them, so many of them tend not to believe in any religion. So this is another problem. When they see you as unique and you believe in Allah and you believe in God, they see you, okay, you're believing in God and the God does not love you because you're not heterosexual. And then another thing is they'll stand to label you in a way that is not really pleasant, and in a way which will corner you and oppress you as a person of faith. This is another issue we usually face, but we are resilient. I am resilient in anything I do because I believe in what I do. Right now, as I can tell you, I have more energy to bring people back to faith, to make people that they can also be religious, they can also have faith, and also they can be queer. And we're getting a lot of resistance from other sexuality, heterosexual, what is considered to be heteronormative, but again, I'm looking forward to see more connection and more allies, people who are not really queer, but they have more clear understanding of queer community, and those are the people who usually work with them to make the society a better place than we found it. I think challenges are there, but also there are a lot of many good stories which are actually giving us morale to continue working and educate people. There are several surah and ayah which explain the existence of queer people. And taking you to the Surah Al-Hujurat and Surah Al-Nisa, it says exactly that Salama, the wife of the Prophet, there was a time there was a queer person inside the house of the wife of the Prophet, and that it says that there were men who they were not attracted to women, and those men were being allowed to be in the houses because those men, they were not a threat. They were the proof that people of queer people were there. They were in the houses of the Prophet and they were not being marginalized, and there were no recorded cases where a Prophet punished a queer person because of who they were, but protecting them. After the four caliphate, there were other dynasties like Umayyad dynasty. Those are at that time. Then there were a lot of issues rising in Islam, and there were a lot of different beliefs and ideologies of imams. So that time is when now people came up with their own ideologies and creating fiqh, which at that time was considered helpful, but again they did not consider people who are marginalized, and there now the problem began. There is no enough education, first of all, and we also as queer community we contribute a lot. Why am I saying this? I think we do not come out clearly and tell who we are. So in collection of data for them to understand the existence of queer community, it can be a huge problem if we do not come out to tell them who we are. I think that is the initial problem where we also contributed for them not to understand us. This is who we are. You are born with black eyes, you are born with brown eyes and blue eyes. This is who you are. There is no way you can change it, or you can reverse it. So I think there is a misunderstanding. There is a gap from us queer community not to communicate in fear of being attacked. People from the other side, or the religious leaders, they are stagnated in a certain way. They are not really open to understand or to hear stories of us. So this is a huge problem. But having a dialogue, continuous dialogue with religious leaders and community and the allies, it can also pave a way for us to be understood, even develop guidelines. In Islam, we have fiqh. But again, you can imagine that fiqh has been created by a human being, not God. That means there should be some loopholes, maybe they were not really considerate of a particular community, and that's now the queer community. They were not considered in that thinking. There is a way we can create, or we can incorporate our existence or our nature, so that they can be able also to understand in a diplomatic way, rather than just being marginalized and being stigmatized from their side. Religion does not stigmatize anyone. Let us get more information about our religion. Let us now network. Let us be very open to tell people, our friends, our sexuality, so that we can get support. I have a strong feeling that our faith is evolving in a good way, that it can lead to inclusivity of queer people in the religion, though there will be some few challenges I can imagine, but I believe there will be a point, maybe I will be alive or dead, but queer people who will be behind us, they will have fewer problems than we had, or we are having right now.